Mr. Woolley,
Good morning.
little excitement in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, I was just reading about it. Crazy stuff.
What happened?
Someone was shooting at a motorcyclist last night, drive-by type thing.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that.
What else? Oh, next home, equity
Yeah,
union. Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Um,
I guess Kate Christensen recruited Jason and Jason's bringing over all the old VIP people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm working with Kate right now. She was telling me about all the Sherry and Zach and next home and all these people going to equity union now.
Well, I think Kate and Jason have remained pretty close.
Lindstrom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're pretty close. So, I've been getting phone calls all week from people I will not mention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of people wanted to call and ask my opinion.
Yeah.
Forgive me, guys. I am older than all of you. I'm still waiting for a F to drop from the sky so I could give one, but it ain't going to happen. It
I
is
think
not going to happen.
I
What's that famous author now? The woman, she wrote a book called Let Them. Her name's Mel Robbins. She wrote a book, Let Them.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I say. Let them.
whatever. I mean, it's
Let
just
them.
everybody now is looking for something
Yeah,
and trying to get their pulse on their finger on the pulse of this thing and there isn't one. I mean, it's all over the place.
no,
You can't
no.
anyone's saying, "Oh, I know what's going to happen. I know where it's going to go." They're out of their mind. Don't listen to them.
I know they are.
You just
I
got to
know.
do what you do every day and you'll get what you get now.
Yeah. So I told you guys last week that I was going to pay a little bit more attention to this assume list. I was on a conference call for about an hour. I mean, they're all in on this. I mean, they're doing live trainings once a week, and I'll tell you, it's a hard sell, and not like it's something brand new, but it's been out there for a while. So if somebody can make it doing this, I wish them well, but it's not something I'm pursuing.
I just think that it's
Just my take.
it's just a thing, another thing for someone to generate revenue for themselves, educating people. And I will say this, we got such you've got all these people who have been in the real estate industry and even the mortgage industry, all these industries since the crash. They came in after the crash. Let's say they came in after 2010, right? Well, this is 15 years later, and you've got these people, their whole careers were in that subsidized market where the phone rang and it was easy to do things and everything. You think about this, this is all the way back to the late 70s. You had a foreclosure thing where things were really slow and there wasn't much going on. A lot of people, there was a lot of attrition, a lot of people that were just eking by because the deal count was down. We had that happen again in the after the savings and loan collapse. It was volume was way down, things weren't happening, and a lot of people were struggling, except for foreclosure people. And this is again the same kind of a thing. You're going through a transition, and the market's going to have to find itself, and people are going to have to find out how to navigate through this until they can get to the other side, whatever that's going to be, until it gets to be more of a normal market. But the one thing that's going to stay consistent is the basics. If you're out there talking to people, getting in front of them, and there's a need, and you fulfill the need and make them comfortable that you know what you're going to do. My wife right now she's in the middle of 4 escrows, and these other agents that she's dealing with, they don't they hardly know which way is up.
Yeah,
And what they do is they throw their hands up and then they say, "Well, I'm not going to do that." Well, you don't understand. You have to do this. It's part of the new rules. And then when they go back and they ask the question, they go, "Okay, yeah, I guess I have to." And then they're pissed off because they're not paying attention, right? And it's just shocking to me. They're not able to keep up with the changing trends. They don't even want to. They're not paying attention, which creates an opportunity for people that are actually paying attention and staying up to date with what the requirements are of the job.
yeah. Brian, let you jump in here a little bit if you can add anything.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing on the lending side too. I've seen so many files come across my desk in the last couple of weeks where it's almost like the lender has absolutely no clue what they're doing. It amazes me that there's still people in the market that are sending out pre-approvals and getting people into escrows, and the deals are garbage.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save one right now for Kate, where this lender, she's been doing it a couple years, but got him into escrow in three
Who's she
weeks.
representing?
What's that?
Who's Kate representing?
The buyers.
The buyers, okay?
Yep. And the girl that was doing this loan, I mean, was like had no clue. She was trying to do an FHA loan using rental income, moving from Oxnard to Camarillo. And basic guideline, you can't use rental income on FHA if you're not
Right,
at least 100 miles away.
right.
So then they tried to flip it to conventional and do a rescore and all of this stuff. And I was just like, what in the world are you trying to accomplish here? So, I mean, I've got the deal approved and
Did you
we're
tell
we're close, but will I save it? Probably. But it's going to cost the client an extra 40, $50,000 to close the escrow on this place than they were expecting.
Jesus.
It baffles me.
Jeez.
But you know what, Frank? Here's and what he's talking about. This is something that we've been seeing for a while here. With the buying public, the buyers having so much more access to social media and the internet and everything else, they think they know how to do everything, right? And they all come in and they've got some wonky pre-approval letter from some lender with nothing to back it up. And a realtor won't rock the boat. So the thing that we see that's kind of gone out the window is the agent trying to control their transaction and guarantee their close. So what they're doing is they don't want to put any ripples in the pond. I got a buyer. I got someone that's going to go into escrow. I don't want to do anything to piss them off. They'll let them get into escrow. And this is I haven't seen as much of this since I started in the business a long time ago. They're just so willing to put anything in and hope for a payday. They're just slinging this stuff. And then they come around with their hat in their hand going, please bail me out, bail me out. And what you see, what Brian just said is the one who winds up taking it in the shorts is the buyer. Because can
Mm.
they get the deal done? Yeah, but all of a sudden it costs them a boatload more money. If that'll even cure the problem. There's a bunch of them that just can't be done.
Yeah.
Uh,
Brian, explain to me how the buyer is going to eat it in the shorts 40 to 50,000 more. How come?
Well, so originally they were told they were going FHA, doing like 5% down.
Okay.
Then that didn't work, so they had to flip it to conventional, and they were trying to do 6%, 7% down. Wouldn't fly. So now they have to, by the time I got the file, it had to be a minimum 10% down, 685 credit score. It wouldn't take it for anything less than 10% down.
Oof.
So now they're coming up with another, 4 or 5% down on an $885,000 house. And
and bingo.
and oh, by the way, we have to pay off a $12,000 car, and we have another credit card for 4 grand that needs to be. I mean, this is and Kate knows. I mean, at this point, she's like, yeah, I screwed up. I should have never let this go. But here's the end result is the buyers are going to get their house, but it's not pretty. They're
Yeah.
begging, borrowing, stealing from everybody they know to come up with cash. But like Joe was saying, it's back in the day, with a lot of my realtor partners, my whole thing was I am insurance that you get paid.
Yes.
Correct.
You can tell your buyers, you got a buyer, you think it's a great buyer, but if you don't get a second opinion, you may not close. So when I work for free to look at a file, even if I don't get that loan as an agent, at least if I told you it'll close, I could close it if they can't, and you get paid. I tell people all the time too when we talk about our buy now, sell later. You want a guarantee of getting two paychecks. Get them into their new house first, because now they have to sell the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
Two automatic paychecks, right? And and agents are like, well, you got to put them in the new one, and we got to find that. And I'm like, okay, what if you put their house on the market today and it sits for 60 to 70 days? they decide, you know what, I'm just not going to sell anymore. So you've marketed the house, you've spent money, you've sat on the market for 60 to 70 days, and they cancel on you. Guess what? You got paid zero. In fact, you lost money because you marketed it and you spent money on pictures and photos and all that fun stuff to get that house listed. If you get them to the house that they want first, you get paid there, and then they have to sell. Two automatic paychecks. It doesn't make
Well,
sense to do it any other way.
well, thank God you have a relationship with Kate that she called you, and hopefully you'll salvage that. But
Yeah. Hey,
you get paid to make lemonade out of lemons anyway. So
yep, and to Kate's credit, I mean, we had this thing submitted, approved in a couple, like 24 hours, and we had a laundry list of conditions, and Kate was at their house like every day. I mean, I had conditions in less than 24 hours to resubmit. So, she did her part too. So great
yeah.
job on her
Okay.
side. Yeah.
All right. So we have not had anybody new on. We only got 5 people on. So this is going to be a short call today. So Joe and Brian, what's the scuttlebug? We had a new Fed chair last week, and that news kind of just disappeared into everything else because that guy says, I ain't doing shit.
Can't.
Well,
I'm not raising, I'm not lowering, I'm not doing anything.
and
So give me
his
your thoughts.
his mentor died today.
Yeah.
Greenspan
Greenspan died today at 100.
at
Yeah,
100
that's
years
Andrea
old.
Mitchell's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Warsh, it's funny because he likes to talk about how he's modeled his views on Greenspan.
I
And
didn't know that.
he's in a very, very tough position right now. And I think what he's going to do is he believes that a lot of this inflation that we're seeing because of Iran and the price of oil is transitory. I would guess he's going to sit back and really not make any moves this year, up or down. I think he's going to take status quo and see how this plays out because he's looking at different metrics than his predecessor. So it's not just inflation. He's looking at the jobs, but in his press conference, the jobs was mentioned like 4 or 5 times, and inflation was mentioned like 30 times. So I suspect we're status quo. I think we're going to see rates in the 6.5 to 6.75 range for the rest of the year. This is our new norm.
Interesting. Joe?
Yeah. He actually, I think what he did was with the information that's out there, he did everybody a favor by not doing anything
Yep.
because the only move that he really probably would have made was to raise rates. That's the only thing that would have made any sense with the numbers that were in front of him. But he's using the which I'm also in agreement with. I'm sure Brian is too. This is transitory. It happened because of this thing in Iran and now whatever you're going to call it. And now that that seems to be at least getting a lid put on it for a little while, you're going to see and I believe it's all timing anyway, because they had to do something to wrap this up. Those guys won't hold the agreement. They'll go back to some kind of shenanigans after this. But if they can keep a lid on it till after the midterms or after the elections in November, then it's like, okay, we're here, we're good. It is what we did. Now we're going to go over and beat the hell out of them again or whatever they're going to do. But this he's like Brian said, he's in a real tough position because the only move that really would have made any sense was to do a rate increase. And if he holds everything for the rest of the year, because everybody goes, oh, the elections are coming, the rates are going to go down. That's not statistically true. There's no reason for the rates to get better because of the fact that there's an election coming. So he's going to try and hold the line the best he can is what he's going to try and do through this whole thing.
Seems like a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, yeah. He's going to do everything he can not to hurt anything, but he's handcuffed on what he wants to. Plus, the other thing, what he can do. But the other thing is, again, subsidized markets are what put us where we're at today. If you didn't have $15 trillion of mortgages out there under 4%, we wouldn't be experiencing the issues that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a created problem that didn't happen as a result of anything other than the government coming in. Face it, the government getting involved in anything is usually not good.
Amen.
There's your proof.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. All right. I don't have anything more, guys. I don't want to keep you. Matt, you got anything?
Sorry about that. I'm trying to find the mute button. No, I'm all good, Frank. Disappointed not to see more of our colleagues here, but understand. Frank, have you? I've been wondering this myself. I didn't want to speak out of turn, but have you tried a different time slot? Just because if I'm doing my calling of the just expireds and going through my list because I don't have the database that you might have that give me the luxury of calling at better times. But this is kind of like in the middle of my call window, 8 o'clock in the morning until about 11 o'clock. And I was just wondering if you've ever considered having this call at 11 instead of 10.
I used to before you.
Okay.
I've done it at 9:30. I've done it at 11. Hell, I even tried it at noon. Let me tell you, Matt.
Lunch with Frank. I like that.
Let me tell you, Matt, it doesn't matter what time I have. The people that want to come on, they'll come on.
That's right.
I have a guy named Brent Gove who sponsored me who's doing pretty good in EXP. He's only making about 1.5 million a month.
Yep. Yeah, I don't always get invited to the Brett Groves webinar. I've gotten a few invites in the past. I don't know how to get on the list.
Chris, are you there?
Yes, Frank.
Tell Matt where to go look.
Oh yeah, Matt. It's in the water circle actually, that's in the pin post where we post the calendar every week.
Could you send me a link? I don't know where to find that.
Sure. You'll see it in the chat.
Every
Okay,
Sunday
great.
night, Chris sends out the winner circle for the week. Every Tuesday, Brent does a call, and he's got over 17,000 people in his group. And you know how many come on the call, Matt?
20.
Pretty close, 30.
Yeah. Okay.
30.
Hey,
It-
Frank,
hey, Crystal.
I'm here.
It's okay.
I'm in the car. I had to pull over. I wanted to catch you. I didn't want to miss you on Monday. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you're here to say hi. I was getting ready to end the call because it's such a short crowd, and I know people are busy, but you just keep on posting, hun.
Okay. I just thought I'd bring you a little sunshine on Monday. Thank you, Frank. I
That
appreciate
you
your
did.
support.
That
I
you did.
appreciate your support, sir.
Good. So, Matt, Chris is going to send you the link. Every Tuesday, Brent is on 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, I appreciate that, Chris. I just saw a message come in about Facebook. Is that the link where you find that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've been anti-Facebook my entire life, and now I seem to have to embrace it.
Yeah, I hear you, Matt. I hear you. All right, everybody, have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.
Thanks, Frank.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.